Hey guys, it's Mark back here with you for another Standards Navigator. So this is Alone Together, a really famous standard that was sung by Sinatra, played by Miles Davis, and it's a great jam tune. And I want to start by paying tribute to one of my personal heroes, Ed Bickert. So Ed and Don have recorded this probably in 1978, I believe. And this is the first track on the record. This is how I got into the tune. It's a great song to practice minor keys, to practice going to the 4, which we'll discuss in just a moment. So as other standard navigators go, we will do a quick harmonic analysis, look at the form, look at where to pay attention. I'll give you some coping and improv strategies, and maybe finish with a little demo, if we have time, of course. Of course we have time for a demo. Side note, if you do not know who Ed Bickert is, stop everything you're doing now. Just press pause on the video. Go on Spotify, YouTube, go anywhere, and listen to this guy play. Canadian hero, and it's so tasteful, but you've been warned that these two guys play that song live, but they're in the key of G minor on the recording. So if you want to follow along, you have to switch your backing track keys so you get that harmony right. We will do the analysis in D minor, which is a typical key that's done at jam sessions and such. And also be advised that the head in, so the melody, Alone Together, da-da-da-da, is played by the bassist. And you just hear Ed comp behind him. It's so magical and tasteful. And again, stop everything you're doing. Type this in Google. Ed Bickert, Don Thompson, Alone Together. Listen to the first minute or two of the track. It's incredible as things go in playing that style. So let's get going with the analysis and the stuff. Okay, where do we start analyzing a track like this when we first look? My first instinct is always to, whoops, I'm trying to make a smaller window here. It's always to look at the length of the form. So this is a chart that's good, it's reliable, it has 4 bars by 4 bars, which I love when it's organized this way. And then 2 more. So you'll see there's a strange thing happening with the first ending, second ending. Then we have a B section that's encompassing these 8 bars. And we have the A prime or the A repeat. So that's B here. And then we have the A prime. So unlike a lot of songs that would do, say, All the Things You Are, A, B, C, and the last section, C, would be the one that's extended. What we have here, it's actually the first section that's extended. So let's count together. I've highlighted on the right. So we have 4, the 8, the 12, and then we have 2 more. So this is not a typo, this is not a mistake. When you stop here and you get back to the top, you have actually 14. Write this in your memory. It's 14 bars. It's not common, and it may flip you around while you're soloing or comping. So it's really important and crucial to count to know where you're at all times and how many bars have elapsed. That's one feature. So you play starting from here, you do the first repeat. Then, of course, back to the cursor on the I wheel here, you will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, 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 12, 13, 14. So you take the second ending the second time through. That's why we say it's AA, right? So these two that will be the first A, then go second repeat, second A. And then the B is that 8 bar section, and the A, call it A prime, is the recap of the song. That's just an 8 bar. So it's odd number of bars. Actually, what's the number? So it's 14 plus 14 plus 8 plus 8. You do the math. I just play and explain. Good. Now let's look into the melody. So the melody is pretty simply Alone Together. So a good way to think about it's your D minor chord right here. Camera, sorry, here. Alone Together. Da, 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 da. So using the first 5 notes of the scales is really common in minor tunes. And then again, Alone Together. Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. We're here. And then you'll notice, oh God, we go to G minor and we go, so we do first 5 notes. So 1, 2, 3, 5. So, and then there's a pseudo turnaround here, which I'll get to in a moment. But here's the interesting part. If you guys follow harmony, you know you're in D. Nah, right. Never seen these things. All right. Well, it's a 2-5. Okay. It's a 2-5 in the key of D minor. Cool. And then we get back, like I love this, D minor 6, it's daunting. Or you can just do a plain D minor. And then you get to G. Like, hey, I've been to G before. Whoops, microphone. I've been to G before. G is actually the 4. Cool. So it's like a minor blues. If you're playing a minor blues and you go to 4, right, you've heard this. But now, here's the interesting part. If we had been playing a blues, we would have wound up on G here. But you have 2 more bars. And how do we get to these 2 bars? We get by means of a 2-5 in the key of G minor. Okay, so I outline this just to show you. That's 1, right? That's 1. That's small 1 again. That's small 1 again. And then we go to 4. So every time you see a 1 and a 4, right before it, you will notice you have a 2-5 and it goes to 1. And again, a 2-5 and goes to 1. So it's easier to think of songs like this, 2-5 and it goes to 1. Or 1 is the 4 now, right? So it's easier to think of tunes in batches like this because in my mind's eye, I know the first 8 bars of Alone Together by going like, oh, we're on 1, then we go to 4. When does this occur? Well, open your ears because it's sort of misleading. Like, alone together, da 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 da. No, I don't know lyrics. Da 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 da, da 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 da. Right, so it gets the 4 in a strange manner. So that's one of the quirks. The 2 endings with the 14 bars is another quirk, and that's the other quirk. Then, next up, we have the sequence of chords that has, I wouldn't want to say no rhyme or reason, but you guys will identify this and going like, oh, we're going to F. So I know my harmony, so D minor is the relative minor, F major is the relative major, so it's not so surprising we get there by means of a 2-5 to get there. Again, 2-5 cell. All right, I can do that, right? Not a problem. But what comes before is just a major third up from that. So people will say, well, that's in A major, B minor 7, E7, but we're not going to A major. A major is unrelated to that song. So it's just sort of a fun harmonic movement that occurs. There are other ways it's been played that I've heard, like I think probably a C minor here. It depends on the versions you're listening to, but that's the one I heard at jam sessions a lot. Then you go to F. So you just have to remember that part for what it is. That's my third quirk. So quirk number 1, 14 bar form. Quirk number 2, we go to 4 at a strange place. Quirk number 3, wow, what is this? Strange. Cool. Then we land on F, then we do a 2-5 in the key of D. But notice, the first ending and second ending here gets the D major. If you guys are not familiar with this, it's called in French tierce de Picardie, which means you have a song, it's in minor, da 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 dee 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 dee, then you finish. Common with heavy rock or like hardcore music, say songs like Linkin Park, what's the song, Crawlin', or these pop hits, they would often have a very dark like minor riff, and then there's a part of melody that just resolves to the major third. It just happens in pop music all the time. So this is, well, also that was the pop music of the era when it was first written. Good, so that would cover the A sections. Lots to unpack. And I highly recommend you just take it slow. You take a backing track. I love to do it like in even 8s, or I love to do it bossa or swing. By the way, this song I've heard from like ballad tempo all the way up to like medium up or even up tempo swing. I've heard people do wonderful things. It's a great form because it's sort of a brain teaser. It's a bit like All the Things You Are in Stella by Starlight. People use it as a laboratory. So really good, right? So all we have to do now is to think of the B section, which has simply a 2-5. And I love that we have triplets. The melody goes something like this. Da 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 da. So we go to 4. So again, A minor 7 flat 5 to D7 goes to a G minor, right? Da da. So lyrical. It depends how it's played with the triplets too. And then we do it again. Da. I think I massacred this. So ba da 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 da. One thing I'll notice that is not in the I reel, but I've heard commonly played here, is this thing that happens twice. We go from an F major to an F7, down to the E minor 7 flat 5. So the reason for this is if you play it this way, you go... It creates an inner movement, and you know we've heard this in orchestras that some of the inner voices, maybe the saxophone or the trombone, play inside, so it gives that chord quality. It's not it's not an F7 in that it's an F7 that wants to go back to the key of whatever that's the 5. It's not. It's just a color passing like this. Good. So we have noted that our head at the top goes from D minor to G minor, 1 to 4, then goes to a relative major, then goes to D major. In our bridge, we go to 2 keys. We go to G minor and we go to F major. Easy. And at the end, it's just D minor. it's just a good old turnaround D minor. Sometimes people add this chord right here. It's not on the chart, notice, but it is here. And that's a 6th chord. So you can do a 2-5 in D minor, which sounds badass in and of itself. But you can add for even more badass. So 1-6, that's B minor 7 flat 5, to a stritone sub 2-5-1. And the melody is daunting and sort of wraps up at this point, going. It's a really interesting way, or you could do pa, ta, or this sort of classic endings. Good. So on that, pointers for comping. Make sure that you have these minor 7 flat 5 shapes that are easy recall that you can do. This one, namely, E minor 7 flat 5 is good, and the A minor 7 flat 5 like this. So you take your A minor and you put your index behind. Make sure you're equipped after your E minor 7 flat 5 to an A7 that is altered. Not a plain 13, not an A7 like this. This is gonna sound like blah, I don't really like that. So A7 flat 13, flat 9. This is really, really good. And same thing for, you go A minor 7 flat 5 here, and D7 you should do a sharp 9 or flat 9. Sounds much, much, much better. Good. So that's typically the indication for comping, and I'd recommend you do a full round, which I will do just now. I'll do just one round of comping and maybe turn down the piano if we have. Oh, it was vibraphones. How creative. I've been listening to Gary Burton recently. And I'll just do a straight up round of either 4 on the floor or Charleston's, just to give you an idea of how this is supposed to sound. And it's going to be straight 8s. Watch out. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, 3, 4. D major. Alone together. Whoops. Let's go at the bridge. 1, 2, B section now. Last A. Okay, our next step for you guys that are jazz improvisers is to look into the improv side of things, and I'm going to make a long story very short. You can play in the key of the moment. So that is, if you look at the first 6 bars, you go, well, all of this is sort of D minor, so you could summarize D minor and just improvise. It will sound okay. And then you go G minor. Okay, cool. And then you're like, well, the next big milestone is F. So you could look at these 3 keys and go, so long as I do this and sort of imply D major here, I will be fine. Okay. Same with the B section. You go here, big milestone G, big milestone F, not any new keys, and all the rest is D minor. So it's a tune that lends itself to ambiguous, open things, and a thing we would do, and that Ed Bickert did on his recording, is to pedal on the 5. So if it's the song is in D, you could do an A pedal and go like sus flat 9, altered, and go alone. Do these sort of dark colors, A altered, like flat 9, weird thing, and even like parallel motions. Like I didn't even know what these chords are, but it permits this kind of freedom, which is really interesting. So that's an approach. Like go D minor, G minor, F, and then you're all set. Now, for you guys that are a bit more like deciphering, people that want to breathe fire, this is a perfect workout to look into minor scales, more specifically the melodic minor of 1, in this case, which would be D minor. So you go D, E, F, A, G, A, B, C sharp, How do I remember D melodic minor? No kidding, no kidding. It's C major with a C sharp. Don't trust me, don't believe me, check this out. C major, ready? Right. Right. Then just make the C a C sharp. That's D melodic minor. That's how you do it. Or you start from a D major scale and you do flat 3. Same result. So a thing of beauty is to be able to improvise with the melodic minor of D and to be able to improvise with the G melodic minor here and here. And the rest is major keys, so F major and D major. That's one way to get into this, and for this it's D melodic minor frenzy. You can really go nuts with that. If you want to take things a step further, and there are other ways to do this, you can also use the other minor scale, which is harmonic minor, but not during the chord itself. Let me clarify. On the D minor, I would use D melodic minor. So again, D, E, F, G, A, B, C sharp. Okay. And during the 2-5 that leads up to that, I would do instead it's one note difference. And here's why. You have this note. You have the B flat and you have the C sharp and the F natural. So that's what we call HMD, harmonic minor of destination, meaning that anytime I have a minor 2-5, instead of thinking of a scale here, an arpeggio here, and a scale, whatever, I think of where it's headed, and I play harmonic minor. For instance, here, I would play G harmonic minor of destination, so G harmonic minor, and on here I would play G melodic minor. It's only one note away. It's only a slight difference, and I don't want to take too much time on this. And again, there are other options. People will rehearse diminished arpeggios and diminished scales and altered scales. Lydian sharp 11, yeah, they all work. But that's a good entry point because the harmonic minor of destination fully describes a really cool altered dominant, namely which is flat 13, flat 9. Okay, if this goes above your head, just don't worry. You can look at other resources, start with easier songs like Autumn Leaves and such. This one moves a lot and it's really interesting. So what I will do is leave you with a demo of 2 courses where, number 1, I will try to simply play mostly around the D melodic minor. And then comes this time for the second course, I will really emphasize the harmonic minor of the destination that we're going to give you that sound. So on that, I will let you go and simply demonstrate. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care. And off we go. Melodic minor implement. Major. Here comes harmonic minor of destination.